I actually am doing this for more so for everyone who's in higher ed that has worked with great leaders and has worked with not so great leaders. And I think we all can learn from this. And I actually received my doctorate in educational administration. So this really strikes home for me, and I see it on a daily basis. So I wanted to kind of share some information that I learned along the way. So this is kind of my agenda. I'm going to kind of talk about characteristics of great leaders and leadership as practice, factors that make a leader, and then the framework for leadership. And then we'll kind of have some discussion. So, what is an effective leader? So, I think that one thing that I just think about right off the bat is that you can have support with whatever values you develop, whatever thoughts that you share, ideas and opinions that you cultivate during your time in higher ed and education in general. You always have to build upon a very open line of communication and mutual respect. I think that is really the crux of what we do in our fields. And so we want to also make sure that our leaders are creating future leaders. So whenever they pass the torch, then we can have someone who has a mindset of inclusivity and making sure that everyone is heard. Cultivating a potential leader is not always an easy thing, and so if we can do that, it's going to be very, very critical moving forward. We want to also be able to utilize motivational interviewing skills. I know I do every day as a dental hygienist, making sure that I ask my patients about certain habits and developments that they have over time, and making sure that I listen to them instead of always talking to them or at them. We have to be quiet and let them speak, and so it's just as much as an important factor as being able to learn from who we are working with. We also want to be able to celebrate other team members' accomplishments and always celebrate that in a way that is very valuable and that we can learn from those experiences. And if we do have a time where we have a shortcoming or some type of effort where we need to kind of hear the tough love, if you will. We have to be able to accept the criticism and be able to move on. Um, Also, an effective leader is someone who is available, that's willing to work hard and make difficult decisions without hesitation. If you have someone who just isn't very quick to move, sometimes it may be misconstrued that they're not really that interested in the dynamics of the workplace or maybe what is happening there. Building mutual trust is also important, and making sure that you can let your worker bees work and be able to work independently. So we'll look at characteristics of great leaders. I have seen great leaders in every walk of life that I've been involved in. And that even speaks to maybe in local government or at a pantry or a library or, elementary school, church. Wherever we have experiences, I have come across some very, very great leaders, and all of those types of entities that I listed are very diverse in nature. And so we need to have an open mind and be able to learn from those folks. We want someone who's a visionary, somebody that looks at the goals and says, "Okay, I want a goal for a year, 5 years, 10 years." be able to utilize those effectively and efficiently. You're always going to have leaders, but you also have to have developed followers and leaders that kind of can take the lead and build upon that and lead the flock, as I usually like to say. And you want somebody that's going to have good ethical background and morality background. And so they need to make those decisions that are difficult, but yet very fair and equitable and be able to move forward. Leadership involves communication, of course, having a vision or seeing the big picture and looking at it with realistic expectations because not everything can be realistic. If you don't look at it from those lenses and those eyes, then sometimes you miss the very valuable pieces of the puzzle. Engagement, making sure that you are engaging your people and your colleagues, and you want to be committed to every goal that you set forth. Inspiration to energize a group. I can honestly say that I try to be the optimist in the group, and I find that effective leaders are also share that same effort. And pessimism sometimes doesn't go that far. So if you try to look at the good and make sure and build upon it, I think that you're more effective in your leadership roles. This is an area that we looked into when I was a graduate student, and it's called Leadership as Practice. And so it has a lot of things that it involves within a toolkit for leaders to use. And you want to make sure also that the leader knows that it's not all about them, that it's about what the entire team can do collaboratively and as a cohesive unit. A lot of times you get more done is if you have a lot of people that are involved that are really looking for effectiveness and efficiency, and there are strength in numbers. So building that cohesive pathway is going to be critical in maintaining a lot of effectiveness. The toolbox with many practice oriented ideas. Um, you, I also think about this in my field in dental hygiene, where we usually need to tap into all of the minds that are at the table because someone invariably will think about something that is just mind blowing or earth shattering that we can actually incorporate within our program and make it better. The third one is kind of the most, kind of interesting one, but I truly think this that a leader should have a servant's heart and be selfless and be able to pass the torch to others, and they can emulate what they have taught them to do. Leadership is a critical process. You have to set a mission or be a visionary, have a mindset of that, looking at the goals and the plan of action, and setting objectives. What would you want to do and be able to sustain that? And then being able to promote buy in with all faculty members or staff members so that way it is just a cohesive unit. And then responding to the changes. You want to also make sure that you are constructive and not destructive. Because I've been around a lot of leaders before that have just been very negative and not supportive of your goals and aspirations, and it just kind of sets you back, and it really makes you think about, I don't want to possibly be in this situation, and I want to be better for others if I'm going to be the leader. And so I really have tried to make sure that I have learned from every experience that I've had in 24 years of higher education practice. And this was an awesome book that actually we were experiencing whenever I was going to work on my doctorate. It's called John Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And these were just some nuggets that I took from that. Um, people need to be who they say they are, because that is their character and what they should stand upon. What are the relationships that you build? Are they trustworthy? Do they engage maybe some deeper relationships along the way? And somebody that you can truly collaborate with? What's the intuition? Do they respect you fully? Not part of the way, but all of the way. Um, do they build energy within the team? Do they have a lot of, morale issues, or do they have just a very valiant effort with building momentum and strength within the unit? I think that that is so imperative. And then, of course, your experience. The more experience you have, really kind of sets you apart. But I do know that there are some leaders out there that have been a leader for a long time, but maybe have not built the skills. And so you want to make sure that you show your people or your followers that, hey, I make mistakes. I'm human. You want to definitely press on and try to eliminate as much adversity issues and kind of build upon the strengths of your individuals. And so I put a picture of this house here, and it's a very nice house. And we look at that and think, I, think that that's very, very cozy and all. But if that house was built on sand, would it look the same? I think not. It would probably be very, very soft in some areas. The roof line would maybe be a little bit different, and the foundation underneath the earth would be a different way if it was built on sand. So I like to think of a framework for leadership as building your house on bedrock. And so that way you have a firm, solid foundation, and people understand that you are in it for the long haul, and very important to do. And your leaders have to have moral purpose. You want to build upon a lot of the good deeds and actions, and then the project will come and it will definitely be effective. Embracing change is not always easy to do. Sometimes you can't manage it or control it, but it is here to stay. So we have to be very good at managing that conflict and be able to embrace the change that comes from it. Building collaboration and creating synergy. You want to also have the success to get things done and to get it accomplished in a timely manner, and to be effective, not just finish it quickly, but be able to really feel good at the end of the day about what you produced and have those successful outcomes. And very, very important there. I always say lead by example too, because a lot of times I do that with students, and I want them to see in me what they want to be. And so they can kind of take that and move forward. Very important for long term. This is a framework for leadership as well that I kind of developed over time. And your leader should judge by credibility and character, not just on hearsay or what someone told them. It may not be the truth. And so they have to really make sure that they know their people and know where they come from and meet them where they are. Because sometimes people will have personal issues and struggles, and you have to definitely make sure that you are aware of that. And always go to the source before making a tough decision. You don't want to make a quick, rash decision and then feel bad about it later. Don't make it if you're not have all your cards in your hand to be able to develop that positive thought process. And then creating positive mindset and culture, very, very important to do that. And always have a positive workplace. It's not always going to be roses, but at the same time you have to just do what you can to make it as successful as possible. And this is just a little bit of my personal reflection. It's put in here, I would like to hold colleagues accountable for work ethic and character, but should look in the mirror and hold myself accountable first. So, in other words, if I'm not willing to do it and stand up for it, then how am I expecting other people to do that? I am always my hardest critic, and so I want to be able to look in the mirror and feel good about what I'm doing on a daily basis. And then mentorship is the key in the workplace, and always striving to be a better leader each day. And so, over a long period of time, I can honestly say that I am hopefully better now than what I was when I first started back in 2000 in my journey as a clinical instructor in clinic. I brought a lot of good skill sets from clinical practice, but at the same time, I think that I've learned from great leaders, and I've learned from leaders that haven't been so great. So that's kind of my presentation in a nutshell.
Mhm.
So this is actually a picture of a Saluki, and that is our mascot at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. So go Salukis. So any
Mhm.
questions that you all have?